Good evening, everyone. I'm Thor Gunderson, and welcome once again to Just Asking for a Friend. This is the program where we go out into the collecting community. We meet statue collectors, hot toy collectors, people from the industry, artists, sculptors, people from all walks of life in the collecting community. Tonight, we have another Jedi. No, I love this guy. He is an advocate of the light side of the Force. He's a hot toy collector, avid lightsaber collector, but he is also akin to the world of Hyrule. That's where Link, Legends of Zelda for all you people who don't know. And this guy, I'm really fond of this guy. He does great Kenobi impressions and everything, and big time Star Wars fan. And I'm really fond of this man. And I'm talking about, of course, Mr. Hussein Faraj, but you know him as Link the Jedi.
Hello there.
See what I'm talking about? What's up, my brother? We ain't talked in person in a long time.
Right. How you been, man? You been all right?
I've been good, man. It's I get to meet a whole bunch of people and find out a lot about them, and we start doing the Friday show a little bit, again. So after a year long, pause, if you will.
How you doing, you old pirate?
Man, I got to record you doing this, play that for my mom's, man. Again.
Oh yeah. I know. You told me your mom loves Lando.
Oh God,
Billy D.
Care about Lando. Don't kill Billy D. And everything. So I like to start these out by telling people where you from, where you grew up, and then slowly like how you got into pop culture, and then later on we'll like get into how that translated into collecting and everything.
I'm born and raised in Michigan. My first glimpse of pop culture was Empire Strikes Back.
Me too.
When Han Solo. My dad. That's the thing. My dad, he used to love watching, unfortunately, Star Trek.
Oh my God!
He used to watch Stargate, Stargate Atlantis and Battlestar Galactica, and he'd watch all of them. But he was watching Empire Strikes Back one day when I was a kid, and it was Han Solo, being put into carbonite.
I see.
And then when I seen the scene when he came out of the carbonite chamber, like this, and
right,
I'm like, there's no way. I was so intrigued by that, and then he, they put him down, and then finally I wanted to know more, and then I found out in Jedi he comes back, and after that, I mean, as you can see, Return of the Jedi, that's my favorite Star Wars film, by the way. But just after that, I just got so into Star Wars, and that's how my Star Wars journey started, pretty much.
Well, I always rag on Star Trek. I mean, there's a few Star Treks I can dig. I used to watch it with my uncle. Like, for some reason, I don't know if it was because the TV was black and white, but for some reason, I remember some black and white episodes of Star Trek. And I'm not. It must have been because his TV was black and white. Because from then on, I don't remember seeing no more black and white episodes. It had to be his TV was black and white. And it was cool. And then in college. Like, when I say there was nothing to watch, I mean, there was nothing to watch. And then they had one channel that just showed the next generation, like just on. So like my roommate, we always got into it because he was Star Trek, I was Star Wars, and I had to sit there and watch this mess with him. And but it was okay, I rag on Star Trek, y'all. Star Trek, but
I've never seen any of them, and I never plan on seeing them.
Well, I mean, really, you got the best.
Yeah, that's it. You just need the wars. You don't really need nothing else.
Exactly. So you said Jedi is your favorite movie.
Jedi is definitely look, Lucas's Star Wars for me is I love them all. I can give you rankings of that, but it won't be the worst. It'll be my favorite, you know what I'm saying, like the best, not the worst, but
So I remember, and I know for a fact, so Luke is your guy and everything.
So I love Luke to that, right. But to a lot of Qui-Gon is my favorite Jedi.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
Qui-Gon is my favorite Jedi, but I absolutely like Luke started the whole thing. I mean, a new Hope, Luke, the binary sunsets. You know, him looking across and seeing what's gonna happen to him. You know, he's just a farm boy, and he turned out to be Luke Skywalker. Well, for me, the ending is Return of the Jedi. I mean, nothing past that. You know, so because for me, I'm not a big sequel fan.
No, me neither.
The sequel trilogy, because they completely abandoned the mythology of George Lucas's vision for Luke. And I'm not. If you love the sequels, that's great. But for me personally, my whole thing is I follow Lucas's mythology and just common sense of what Luke would have done.
Right.
You know. So.
It's amazing. One thing that always did admire about Luke, you know, of course, you know, I'm rooting for my boy to kill him every movie, but still, the thing is, when you look at where he started and where he ended up, it's like, because again, I saw Empire first, so I didn't see A New Hope till later on, but
yeah,
it just amazes me. Like you see this, hi Uncle Uncle Owen, and then next thing you know, this dude walking into Jedi into a Jabba's palace and choking up. I'm like, wait a minute, this same fault, you know what I mean? So it's like, you
see the growth. It was a natural growth, you know.
And that's what always turned me off about Rey. It's like Rey just showed up and she nice, you know what I mean? Like, come on, man, don't do that.
I won't even say it's because of the character. That character could have been amazing. It's just the writing for her character and the story. They rushed everything. Like even if you look at the interviews with Daisy Ridley, she even said like she was always confused. Am I a Kenobi? Am I like they kept confusing her, you know? So it's not her fault. You know, she did what she could, and I think she did a good job for what she was given. But the whole story, the whole premise was, for me, it was a money grab. You know, Mark Hamill said it over and over again. You know, Luke. Here's my thing: Luke would never abandon his sister. Okay, he will, even if he's seen the darkness in Ben Solo, he would never attempt to kill the guy. To kill him in his sleep. He overcame the Emperor and Vader. I know it's unfortunate for you.
No. I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, but like he overcame that. He will always find a way, you know. And people say, "Oh, you guys want this Luke to be this guy going and destroying stuff like you've seen in Mandalorian." But no, look at in Return of the Jedi. He says, "No, you failed, Your Highness." He threw his lightsaber on the ground. I am a Jedi like my father before me. He did not choose violence. He said, I am not going to fight anymore. You know, I'm not going to make the same mistake my father did. You know, so.
Yeah, that's the part that always got me. It was like, okay, so you don't give up on your father. Why would you give up on
That's
your nephew for something he hasn't even done yet?
Exactly. That's it's like the whole thing with, you know, going back and, you know, killing Hitler when he was a baby. You know, he ain't do nothing yet. You know, or anyone, like I think they did it in the Marvel movie, something like that, right? Or that was like the joke in there. But
when they did all the time travel.
Yeah, when he said let's go kill Thanos or something when he was a baby. Yeah, but yeah, that's my whole thing. That's the only thing. It's just, you know, you got to keep the mythology going, you know? Like if your father hands you something down, you're going to take extra care. Like if your dad gives you something or your mom gives you something, you pass it down to generations. You want to treat it with care. You don't want to just capitalize on it, you know? Like you just want to take care of that. And
it's
if it
funny,
ain't, don't fix it.
It's funny you say that because my whole thing, this is the main reason, like I dislike it for different reasons than everybody else. To me, it just seemed like Disney was doing their own version of the original trilogy, right? And with prequel to original trilogy, they were both completely different concepts. You know what I mean? And then they just went right back to the original trilogy. I'm like, no, you can't do that.
You gotta integrate it. If you don't integrate it, it makes. I mean, it makes sense for the prequels to be completely different from the original trilogy because it was a bygone era. The Emperor's whole point was to, you know, like famish these people of
Yes.
the Jedi. They don't want them to know who the Jedi was. They don't want them to see how good things were. He just wants them under his rule. You know, it makes sense. You know, but to go do another Death Star as a planet this
I
time,
know exactly.
you know, even in Jedi doing another Death Star, that was kind of pushing it. You know, but now you really, you know.
Yeah, I mean that one didn't bother me because
It didn't either for me.
Yeah.
But like, yeah.
But with this, it's like okay. I mean, and to me, the Force Awakens was so much like A New Hope. Like it was almost carbon copy, you know.
It was a carbon copy. I agree.
And I was
it
like,
was just a different gender. It was just
exactly.
a girl this time.
Yeah. And the part that really turned me off with that movie, like when I knew I was kind of done with these sequels, was the part with Han Solo and Chewie with the Raftar thing.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, what is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just so, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it was cool when they got into the Falcon, they're like, we're home. I was like, and I had like chills. And the next thing you know, they got this Raftar.
I have a shirt with that picture with Han and Chewie.
Yeah, that was cool. And then next thing you know, you got these Raftars. I'm like, dude, what is this? And I was literally in the movie like this. Oh my God. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, that's what going to that point, like when I was getting Hot Toys, you know, I was getting them like in like all of them pretty much, right? And then when the sequels came out, that's when like I'm like, you know what? Like I need to like slow down, like because I don't want these characters. I don't care for them. You know,
exactly.
Like I don't want to. Like that's the thing about collecting. Is a lot of people feel compelled to get everything that has Star Wars on it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like you can't look at it like that.
Exactly.
Well, and from my point of view, I can't look at it like that. You know, like if I get Luke, then I'm gonna want Han and Leia from the new or Rey, you know, and be like it's gonna be missing. But for me, I just cut that off. Like I was like, you know what? I need to start like you know. Like getting condensing my collection pretty much, like picking what I want and what I like, because if I get Rey or Kylo Ren, I'm gonna be like, I don't care for these characters. Why should I have it? And you know, so and that's kind of like the first step, you know, for me, kind of cutting down and then finally phasing it out. So
I totally agree, because that was the crossroads I was at, you know, because I had like you know, I had Ghost Rider, and then I even had a Medusa statue because I always like Clash of the Titans is one of my favorite movies.
Oh yeah,
and they had this, you know, this I think it was ARH Medusa, and I sold it though, but but then you know I got Focus. I saw, you know, Batman Statue Collector had all these villains and stuff, and then I remember sitting there saying, how cool would it be to have a whole bunch of Sith Lord, because you know Vader's my guy, and I said that's what I'm gonna do. So and with this, I've had no problem being disciplined with just, you know, because even with Star Wars, man, it's Jedi and bounty hunters and troopers and all, you know, now they're making ships, you know, they trying to, you know, so it's because I know you said when they come out with the Falcon and all that stuff, you gonna be on board.
right,
you know?
right.
And it's just too much, you know. Unless you just got infinite room and infinite funds, you can't collect everything, you know.
Right, and even if I had the room, like I would have at one point been like, you know what, man, I'd rather have bigger pieces that, you know, I don't have to fiddle with too much, because a lot of these Hot Toys, it's cool that you can change the poses and stuff like that, but like you really want to, you know, keep playing with like and posing and all that. I mean, look, I get some people like it and stuff, but like for me personally, I couldn't do it anymore. It was just getting too much, so I ended up selling them. And
hold on. We get into that in a minute, because we got to see how you got them first. And then so talk about how first of all how you got into Hot Toys.
The Hot Toys. Then, I'd say it was around 2017. But this is like when Hot Toys was not really well known. They started releasing. I think this is what happened. So I was on Sideshow. I discovered Sideshow, and I'm like, oh man, why these figures are so expensive? Like, how the hell is it that much? But then I seen my first Hot Toy was Ben Kenobi from A New Hope.
Mm-hmm.
It was on Sideshow's website, and like I finally, I got a job, and I was getting, I was getting some money in and stuff like that. I'm like, you know what? Let me just, this looks so good. I'd love to have it. So once I got it in hand, I ordered it, and I was like, man, I was blown away. Look, don't get me wrong, Hot Toys still the sculpts, they're top of the game. Like with you, even the statue makers now. But Hot Toys, like they started that whole likeness, in my opinion. Like they started the way they capture the likeness of the characters.
Mm-hmm.
That's what really grabbed me, because I love that, the likeness and stuff like that. So that was the first one, Ben Kenobi. And then my buddy was like, how are you gonna have Ben Kenobi and not Darth Vader? so then they released A New Hope Vader with Tarkin as a 2-pack.
Oh wow. Okay.
And those were unbelievable. It came with the interrogation droid, the needle, with the
Leia. Yeah.
It came with Tarkin's chair. Like that's how they grab you, Then this is what I was going back to. Like, you need to get everything now. Like, I got Ben Kenobi, I got Vader, Tarkin, and then I'm like, I need Luke. I need Farm Boy Luke. You know what I'm saying? And Han, and then Chewie, and then that's how the Avalanche started. Like,
especially with Hot Toys, I find, like, to me, with statues, you can have one or two statues and you'll be okay. But with the Hot Toys, I think what makes them so great is like how people pose them and make these scenes and everything. I don't have the patience for that stuff, but I've seen some people make some, like our boy Toy Bills. Like I've seen him make some, some pictures on Instagram where he hooks up some scenes and everything.
Yeah. So speaking of that, I was doing that. I started to do that. Right. I started to do on my Instagram, the same name, Link the Jedi. I still have that Instagram, but I haven't been posting on it because I don't have them anymore. But I would start to do that. Like I would watch scenes, and then I'm like, you know what? It would be nice to do a scene like that. Yeah. Like for example, even Jazz Inc. You know how they started doing those dioramas?
Right. Yes.
I got the Millennium Falcon, the cargo.
You got the cockpit?
No, I got the cargo hold.
Okay.
The one where the hollow chest table.
Oh yeah,
and the seating. Yeah. So I got that, and I started taking pictures like with I'll send it to you.
Okay.
But pretty much I'd put the characters in there and I'll take pictures, and not only that, I'd always like do like different scenes. And I used to like doing different scenes. Like, for example, when Obi-Wan just finished fighting Anakin on Mustafar, when you seen him going into the ship, and he was like tapping 3PO on the shoulder.
Yeah, I know exactly.
You never seen the front version of that. So I I did it where I did like a scene where it literally shows the inside of the ship looking at as Obi-Wan, so you can see his emotion. Like, he's like putting his hand on 3PO walking up the ship, and he has Anakin's lightsaber in his hand. So you can see that too. So it's kind of like, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it, because that scene means so much. It's pretty much taking you into the original trilogy. Anakin just he's burning, and Emperor comes and picks him up or whatever. But and just those are the kind of things. That's what used to give me joy with the posing the Hot Toys and doing scenes and stuff like that. It was just a joy, But then it ran out. But it was fun while it lasted, honestly. But I loved doing it. It was pretty cool.
So then you say you started to get you sold them off Hot Toy wise.
Yeah, so like A New Hope, and then the thing with Hot Toys is they don't go in order. Like they'll just release whatever. Now they're doing more like when a new movie like Indiana Jones is coming out, they announce the Indiana Jones figure, right? They never used to do that back then. They used to just randomly release. They released like Hoth Leia, and then Return of the Jedi Luke, and then Palpatine. Like they were out of order kind of. So it was kind of like oh God, I gotta wait. I got Jedi Luke, and there's no Emperor. Then they released the Emperor, so then I'd get that. So they would flip flop a lot, like between the movies and stuff. So it would take, some time, like years, to get like the line that you wanted. But yeah, it got to a point where I was like, you know what, it's becoming too much. So I ended up selling them,
Hmm.
and you know, you're the Mr. Statue Seducer. So yeah, I mean, after I got to know you and everything, and I seen your statues, and you kind of got me on, like, with like the statue makers and everything.
Hmm.
And I was like, what, I can probably get a couple of these, and I don't have to get the whole line,
No.
and kind of like what you said earlier, you disciplined yourself to get just the Sith,
Hmm.
which I don't appreciate. but but no, it's cool. I like that you, like, you have, what you want,
Right.
and you won't let anything get in that way.
Mhm.
Like, maybe sometimes something will tempt you, but you're like, you know what, this is what I want.
Right.
I'm not gonna change my path on that.
Yeah, I mean, because this stuff, it'll get you.
I
It's
know.
so they like literally now, like it wasn't like this a few years ago, but now anything you were into growing up, they probably making it into some kind of collectible. I'm
Right.
talking.
Oh yeah, it's scary now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's scary.
but I see what you mean with the hot toys because I see all this week people freaking out over they did the Supergirl from Flash and everybody
Oh, they did
and
one for. I see. I don't even. I don't.
yeah.
I haven't been keeping up. But
And because people were freaking out because it doesn't really look like her, which surprised me because usually hot toys are on point
right.
with the likenesses and everything. And so like when you talk about Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny, yeah, they just came out with the
That one
Supergirl.
looks killer. I seen that one. That looks really good. But that sounds about right. Every time there's a hot toy release, there's always it doesn't look like him. Yes, it does look like him.
Mm,
Like, people would fight about it and stuff like that in the comments and stuff like that. But that's the thing. Hot Toys is known for their likeness. If you strip the figure down, it looks like a toy. That's
right.
what it is.
That's
It's
my
all
whole
about
point.
it's all about the likeness, and thankfully Jedi aren't naked, because they have their clothes on, and you're not gonna see. Well, some of them are gonna have the joints and stuff like that.
Mhm.
They're not like bare. Like Ahsoka, for example, she has like it's all silicone, but then those ruin too. So it's like you can't win, because if you have the joints, you're gonna see the joints showing.
Right.
But if you have the silicone, that's going to wear off
Yeah.
over time and break. And I've seen horror stories of that. You're paying $300 for this figure, and it's going to ruin in a couple years unless you put Vaseline or whatever people are doing now on it. They're like putting these weird creams and stuff on it. But I don't want to deal with that. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I paid too much money for this figure. I'm not trying to have it crack in the next year. And yeah, you can't get
And
a replacement.
that's the
So.
problem I've always had. I mean, again, I love how the people do these scenes and everything, but when rubber hits the road, it's a doll. Like a hot toy is a doll, man. It's like a high priced doll.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to tell people, like that's what it is. When you strip them clothes off and you go get you a
Right.
Barbie, you get you a Barbie doll and compare it. That's what it is.
It's
You
the
know what I
same
mean?
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anywho, so Qui-Gon, before we get to the statues, talk about how Qui-Gon became your guy. Like,
So Qui-Gon. Okay, so the first movie, the first Star Wars movie I seen in theater was The Phantom Menace.
okay.
When they, like, you gotta, like, people need to, like, I know there's a lot of young people watching and stuff. They don't understand how it was when there was no Twitter, there's none of this
Mhm.
social media back then. So you only used to get your advertisements on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and if you miss that, you miss it. Or you'd see it, on like Good Morning America or something when
Right.
they're promoting a
Yep.
film, or a Pepsi can with Darth Maul on it and stuff like that. Like,
because the internet was barely getting started.
it was internet was not for us. It was like Bill Gates was probably using it regularly, but like people like us, we only heard through like seeing newspaper ads and stuff like that. That's how we, so when Phantom Menace was announced, when George was gonna make it, the promo started to ramp up and stuff, and I was a kid. It was for me. Phantom Menace was for me. I was 11 or 12. I was Anakin, like literally Anakin's age when Phantom Menace came out. So I was excited. My mom would get me the clothes. I have a picture. I gotta show you. I think I showed it to you before, but I was wearing like the Anakin, the pod racer on the shirt and all that, and I was so excited, to go. So once I went to that movie theater with my dad, and I was watching the Phantom Menace. The first scene is you see two Jedi, right? You see two Jedi. And then they take their hood off, and you see Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, but you don't know who they are until he's like, he's like Obi-Wan, keep your concentration here and now where they belong. And then I'm like, Obi-Wan, that's Ben Kenobi, So like I started to piece it, so then after that, and I'm like, oh my God, so that's his master. This guy has to be amazing, like imagine Ben Kenobi's master, so then like just the whole movie, and I didn't find Jar Jar annoying. I didn't find
me neither.
Eating Jar Jar is like the cool thing, right? It's like the cool thing. I never had a problem with Jar Jar. I understood why George put Jar Jar in the prequels, especially in Phantom Menace. It's for the kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? The movie was for my age group, and I enjoyed him. I didn't have any issue with Jar Jar. But yeah, that's the thing. Like I started to see Qui-Gon, and he's like commanding Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan's like listening to him without any, like he's not pushing back. The way Anakin used to push back with Obi-Wan. And that's why if Anakin trained under Qui-Gon, he would never turn. We would have never turned to the dark side. And George did something in the movie a couple times. If you that's the thing about George Lucas, in his movies, in 20 years from now, you'll find something you'll be like, that makes sense.
You're right.
You remember in Phantom Menace when every time when Anakin finally went with Qui-Gon when he left Tatooine, when Qui-Gon. When Anakin was gonna go to the Jedi Temple, he looked back before they told him you're leaving. He looked to Qui-Gon before Qui-Gon even said anything. He looked at him like a son would look to his father or mother, like, can I go? Like he was like literally asking for permission, like in a respectful way, And then when he told him, stay in the cockpit, he stayed in the cockpit. Obviously, he literally took the ship off. But he would always listen to him. Anakin would always listen to Qui-Gon, and that's what the problem was. Obi-Wan was more of a brother to Anakin than a father.
Yeah,
that's why he used to butt heads with him all the time. And that's why the whole Qui-Gon thing is like, he commands so much presence, and it's so effortless. They're all listening to him. He's so wise, so that's kind of like what really, like, he became, my favorite character. Qui-Gon. Okay. Yeah.
And so recently you got your Qui-Gon statue.
I did. Yeah. Unfortunately, I can't. I don't have it displayed right now, but I love that statue. I right when they announced it, I know they had another piece, the Obi-Wan from Phantom Menace to go with it, but right now I don't have the space for it. But like, I really want a Ben Kenobi. Like that's the thing. Like when I was telling you, like I started to like prioritize what I want, just like you did, right? Like you said, I want this character, I want this character. I don't need, if they have a companion, I don't have to have that companion.
No, you don't.
So Like I love Obi-Wan. I want like a version like when it comes to statues,
Mm,
like I want a version of the character that I gravitate most toward.
exactly.
You know, I don't want to have to get every Obi-Wan or every Vader.
I
Now
feel
my
exactly
only
the same way.
yeah, so my
Mm.
only exception is I have a young Anakin Skywalker from the Phantom Menace by XM
Mm.
Studios. Remember that three, the one that
Oh
came
yeah,
out?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember.
Yeah. So I got that set solely for Anakin, the young Anakin.
Mm.
I was able to sell the other two, but I got that because I love Anakin from Phantom Menace. As a kid, I that's who I seen. That's who I was.
Mm.
He was my age, and I felt everything he did. So I got that, and then I'm gonna get a Vader, and that's to be determined. I'm not sure yet. I want to get a Vader with a sculpt or something, and hopefully one of these statue makers make it.
Yeah, I think one of the custom guys.
They're on
It,
it.
he's on, because he already made the one I'm thinking about. He made a New Hope, and he says he's gonna make an Empire one and a Jedi one. So
Okay, so maybe yeah. So I might get one of those, but that's my only exception. Like when it comes to this, because Anakin and Vader, same whatever.
yeah,
But
and
that's my
that's the only one. The one you got, that's the only Anakin statue there
that's
is
the
one.
only
Really,
young Anakin statue you can get in
right?
the world. Nobody's ever made it, and it's pretty
Quarter
cool.
scale. I think there are a few. I think
It's
General
quarter
Giant.
scale.
Yeah, General
Yeah,
Giant made a few smaller scale ones.
yeah, like the half scale. The
Right.
I call them the Darth Mauls because they're always in half. The balls.
That hurt.
Yeah, right.
So, I look to you for the, you into the custom sabers and
Yes,
everything, and
I'm heavily into that. Yeah.
even our boy Kenobi and even Cash the Gemini has hit you up, about some of these
Yeah.
customs, and talk about how you got into saber collecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Qui-Gon being my favorite character,
Hmm.
I was looking for. I'm like, you know what? I want a Qui-Gon lightsaber,
Mm.
and I recently found out about NeoPixel. So NeoPixel lightsabers, they're pretty much you can customize them any way you want, and you've seen that before. I've shown you.
Oh
I
yeah,
actually did
yeah,
one with your voice and everything. It's so
yeah. I
cool.
remember.
Just it's literally the closest thing you can get to a lightsaber because it's 1-to-1. Like if you wave it or anything like that, it's like 1-to-1. It will on command. It's not like one of those the Galaxy's Edge ones where you wave it and it takes a second to register that you waved it,
Hmm.
and then it'll make the noise. This is literally like if you swing it a million times, it'll follow each movement. It can do the quotes. It can play the tracks like the music. Like say for Vader, you can put the Imperial March on it and ignite the saber, and it's freaking cool. It's really cool. So you can do all colors and stuff. But I found out about that, and I'm like, you know what? I love Qui-Gon. Let me get his lightsaber. So I was able to find his lightsaber, uh, and that was the first lightsaber I got. And then I'm like, you know what? There's some other lightsabers I like, like the different kinds. So I was able to get like several of the characters. Like I don't have to get every character, say, like because I started to control myself when it came to getting like characters and everything.
Yeah, 'cause those things are expensive too.
They're very
Yeah.
expensive. They're super expensive because what you do is you gotta pay because it's not official, right? So you gotta pay the custom price, which is high because it costs them a lot of money to make,
Hmm.
and it's super accurate. That's another thing. Like I make sure, like these people, they actually go and some of them have connections to the people at the prop stores and the auctions and people that work at like in the movie industry, and they have like the actual like the blueprints and they have the actual prop, and they give them like the schematics of it, like how it
Hmm.
is, so they can like pretty much copy it and make it into like they don't mass produce it, they make only a certain amount,
Hmm.
and that's why they're so expensive. But that if you want to get it installed, that's another thing about the whole thing I was just telling you, the NeoPixel,
Hmm.
and that costs another $400-$500.
Wow.
So that's why I like only have two right now that are installed, but the rest are like props. for me. So Qui-Gon was my first one, but I have 1, 2, 3. I have them with me here, but here's the
Yeah, go ahead,
Qui-Gon.
Sean. There you
This
go.
is Qui-Gon from Phantom Menace, and it has like this cool copper. Like you can see, it's a little shiny.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is literally just like the one Liam Neeson had in the film. It's literally like you can even see the ridges.
Yeah.
Like you can see the ridges.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So this you can get installed too. Like all of these, they're made for being installed. But I only picked a couple that I have installed. Well, most of them are for props that I have just display.
But what I find amazing, because I know we always, we both a fan of the Jedi Survivor game and everything.
Yeah.
And our girl, the second sister, Elizabeth Gruyon. And it amazes me how they make sabers even from video games, because they make there you go.
This is like
Cal Kestis. Yep.
And like you can see, like this is where the saber broke in the first one.
Right.
You can like see all the wiring and stuff like that. And then like you can see the kyber crystal in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, it's one, like you said, it's one thing to have the actual prop, but to go in the video game and
yeah, that's what blew me away.
That's amazing.
It blew me away. Yeah.
So okay, so I want to get to, because obviously being a Jedi, that's just half of the story. We know you're a big time Zelda fan. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, when I was a kid, because I'm a little older than you, and I played I dabbled in Zelda. The first one was definitely my favorite.
Which one? On which system?
On Nintendo? Yeah, the first one.
Yeah, and the literal first one, yeah.
The literal first one. And then I remember beating that. And then for some reason, The Adventures of Link didn't really...
Yeah, that was more of...
The side scroller, I ain't really...
Yes, yeah. They made it more Mario.
Yeah, I ain't like it. The first one was I was hooked on that. And then years later, I can't remember if it was Super Nintendo or 64 or something. I played this one Zelda game. I just remember going up these steps to this...
A Link to the Past.
Link to the Past, that's right. Yeah, with that frog dude or whoever he was.
Yeah.
And I played that for a while. I was like, I ain't feeling
Link to the Past is one of the best Zelda games.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It never, after the first one, at least with me with Zelda, it just kind of fizzled out. But talk about how you got into
Zelda.
Became a Zelda fan, yeah.
So the first game for me that really got me into Zelda was Ocarina of Time on the 64.
Okay.
That was the first time I got into Zelda. This was in 90 when it came out in 90. It came out similar, same year to Phantom Menace. It came out in like 98, 99.
That was your year,
huh? Everything. It's like one of those years where everything you want is just coming out the same year,
Yeah.
But I didn't even know about the game. I went to a cousin's house, and he was playing the game, and I'm like, what is this game? I never really used to play video games at the time because they were expensive. They were super expensive. They were like, people think, oh, it's $500, $600 for a system. It was this around the same back then. People don't remember, people forget that. It was like, even if it was less, it was like, inflation and all that. It would have been the same price. But he was playing Ocarina of Time, and I'm like, wow, this game looks like a game that I would love to play. And then I win, and my dad took me to a GameStop. GameStop was still around before, and I got the cartridge, the N64 cartridge, and I got a 64, and I started to play it, and that's, the Ocarina of Time was my first, and it's still till today, it's my favorite. I got the new one that just came out, but Ocarina of Time is still my favorite Zelda game of all time. I love that game.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about this new one. They're saying it might be Game of the Year and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna win Game of the Year for sure. Like
really?
the last one that came out in 2017, Breath of the Wild. It's that one Game of the Year as well. It's just that's why these games take so long to make, because they put all their effort and they make sure the game is like polished. Not like some of these games these days. the first day and starts shutting down on you and stuff, and they need to patch it and all that. But it was a great game. But for me, going back to what you said, it's always what we cling to the past that gives us those original feelings, like the nostalgia. And that's the theme these days. People start to blame nostalgia, right? They start to say, oh, you only feel this way because you're nostalgic toward it. Well, that's in part true, but most of the time it's because if something is not broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if something is good, continue it. Why do you have to cut it off and redo it? That doesn't make sense. Or here's an idea. Come up with your own idea and do a new thing. Don't tamper with something that people love. So.
Because I can honestly tell you, the day they come out and say Darth Vader is a woman, y'all better keep an eye on the Magic Kingdom. That's all I'm gonna tell you.
You know what, man? I don't think we'll be alive by that time, and I'm glad.
I hope not. I hope I don't live to see that. I swear, please, God, don't let me live to see that. They come out with some pink Vader house. No. Oh my God.
Breast cancer awareness Vader.
Oh my God. Please, Lord, please. That's all I ask. Just leave him alone, please.
Didn't they kind of do a female Darth Vader in the Visions?
I probably. I mean,
I think I seen they kind of like did like a knockoff Vader with her. Like,
oh my God,
she had the whole mask, and that's what I'm saying. Like I know, I'm sure a lot of people know in the groups. With with your famous abominations.
Yeah, abomination.
With the samurai Vader. Like, why do you like the design is already like, I'm not knocking anyone who likes it, but for me personally, and for you, I'm sure, like when you see something like that, when they inflate Vader's head or give him John Bay style abs or Arnold arms, or samurai, or steampunk.
Well, see, here's my thing with that. Okay, so like, I don't get upset with Batman. I'm sorry, I could care less about Batman. But the thing, it makes sense for Batman because one, he's a martial artist, right? And so he went to train in Japan. So okay, it would make sense that you have some Japanese. Plus, that's on Earth. That exists on Earth. Ain't no samurai. Real, yeah, ain't no samurai and out here on Tatooine. Ain't no samurai.
It was inspired by samurai and the seven. Lucas was inspired by the films, but it doesn't mean you're gonna make them.
Yeah, ain't no samurai.
No. There's no samurai.
No,
like Vader's helmet. Vader's helmet is modeled after the samurai helmet.
Well,
but it's not a samurai helmet. Yeah. So like, why are you gonna make it a samurai helmet? Like, I don't know. I feel like Vader's design is just perfection. Like, you don't need to tamper that, and that's in my opinion. I mean, I love.
And I might add, you don't need to set no lightsabers on fire. Just saying.
Are you referring to the sideshow one?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I remember.
Yeah, that was a little. That was a little weird, but thankfully it's not permanent, right? You can remove that.
But still, the fact
you can use it. I mean, here's the thing, Thor. Like, you got to give him credit. You can use it as a toothpick.
Yeah. No, I know what that would. I'd be clean. I got a drain to stop them. Now I can go in there and pick out. So.
Oh man.
Yeah, because the minute that show up at this door, it ain't. We post that on eBay immediately.
Right, it'll sell.
Yeah. We can use the dope. So we didn't get into far as like your ranking of the Star Wars films. Like what is your
the ones that count or all of them?
Three. Just your top three. You ain't gotta go down the whole list.
I can do. Go ahead. Okay, so my first is
start at 6 and then go up.
Okay,
if you can, yeah.
So okay, so you want me to go from my
least to best? Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so for me, the best are still gonna be the OT.
Okay.
I can't put anything above the OT for me personally. So for the prequels, I rank them. 1 is my favorite. Phantom Menace is my favorite from the prequels. Then I'll go Revenge of the Sith, and then Attack of the Clones. That's my order for the prequels.
Okay.
For the original trilogy, it's gonna be Jedi number 1, and then number 2 is Empire, and A New Hope is
I had a feeling that was the way it would go. When you said Jedi was your favorite, I had a feeling.
Yeah. So that's my rankings of the. You know what? I don't have a problem with Solo, the movie.
Me neither. I love Solo.
I like Solo a lot.
Solo was great.
And Rogue One was good.
Yes.
I love Rogue One. Of course, the sequel trilogy, for me, I have not seen them since I seen them in the movies.
Yeah,
I you know what I'm saying? I tried to block them on Disney Plus. It wouldn't work. But
I got them on Blu-ray just to say I got everything, but I don't watch them.
Yeah,
I don't watch them at all.
I had them, but I sold them. I couldn't do it. Yeah,
that's great. I mean, I'm good with letting them collect dust.
Yeah,
you know, I just
Mandalorian. I like Boba Fett. I know a lot of people had issues with it, but I didn't. It wasn't the best show. But for me, it was okay. I mean, it was better than season 3 of Mando.
I agree, which ain't saying much, but I as a whole, I think it was.
But
it had its moments, but it did have its moments. But I was like, "What in the world is this?"
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
like the Power Ranger people.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking about the speeder bikes?
Yeah. I was like, "What? Who are these folks?" You know,
it was like Alita Battle Angel all over again.
I was like, these people ain't in. And then I thought about the guy they got in the Bounty Hunters comic, and he's got like cyber.
Oh, you're talking about Chrysanthemum?
Yeah, and my problem with him is not Chrysanthemum.
Right?
No. In the Bounty Hunter comics now, they got this guy that looked just like a T-800.
Oh,
and he's a bounty hunter.
Terminator,
he looked just like a Terminator. And I was like, where this dude come from? And then now I see these people on Boba, and I'm like, okay,
right.
But somebody did tell me that they had him in like Dark Horse Comics or something back in the day. But Boba started out good, especially when he showed how he got out of the Sarlacc pit.
I love that, man, dude. And like you literally were watching Return of the Jedi.
Yes,
Skip was right there.
Yes,
and then you seen him. Oh my god, dude, it took me back. I was like,
And I even like the stuff, with the Sand People. We had a couple corny moments in there a little bit, but you got to see Sand People lore and how they make their magic sticks.
Yeah,
I mean the Tuscan lore.
Oh, yeah, they're Sand People too. Yeah,
and you got to see how they operate in their hierarchy, and the champion was cool. Even though they said that was a cool that played.
That was a girl. Yeah,
that was a girl. Yeah, but it was cool. She was nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She whooped his ass.
I'm hoping she survived, because I remember when they went and showed the spoiler alert, they all died. But you didn't see her body, and so I'm hoping she's still around.
Yeah, if you don't see a body, then they're probably still alive somewhere.
Yeah.
Or you'll have what's his name, Poe Dameron, say somehow they returned, like somehow Palpatine returned.
Or nobody's ever really gone.
Yeah.
For
the Jedi, that's true. I mean, they can become Force ghosts.
What about the animation, like Clone Wars?
Oh yeah, Clone Wars I love. Well, here's the thing: you gotta remember, Clone Wars is George Lucas's baby. Like he has always wanted to do a show because it gave him more opportunity to expand on the story. Mm-hmm. That's why Clone Wars is so intertwined with with everything, because George Lucas is there, and people don't realize. A lot of people don't know that Ahsoka was created by George Lucas, not Filoni. Ahsoka was created by George Lucas. He always wanted Anakin to have a Padawan, and that's where he made the Ahsoka character. And Filoni, of course, he's taking care of her character and stuff like that. But it was always Lucas's idea with Ahsoka.
Yeah, I was even there in the movie for that little mini
The first one, yeah,
the Clone Wars movie where
with Dooku
with
and
Doku and all,
with
and Jabba's son
Stinky,
got Stinky,
Stinky.
yeah. I went and saw that, you know.
Yeah, I did too. You know what's funny? That movie is not the first, is not the beginning of the Clone Wars, because there's like the Clone Wars is not all in order in the beginning. The first couple seasons,
Right.
they're all out of, like, some of the arcs are out of order, and that movie is actually in between some of the episodes in Clone Wars. It's not the first thing that happened in Clone Wars.
Right.
If you go on Star Wars, you can see the chronological order, and then I actually went back and watched them in chronological order, and it makes a lot more. It's like a lot more linear, because I don't know if you remember, but like sometimes you watch the Clone Wars and you're like, wait, I thought that happened before.
Right.
Like
Yeah,
some
that's
of
true.
the things like were kind of like out of order. That's why, because they weren't in chronological order. They released them by arcs in the beginning. That's why.
And I remember even you remember the little shorts that were on Cartoon Network, the Clone War.
Those were the Gandhi ones. You're
Yeah.
talking about the one where Mace Windu messed up Grievous, and
Yes.
that's how he got his cough.
Yes.
And
Those
everything.
were amazing. I
I
was
like
just
those
mad.
too.
And then remember when Anakin fought Ventress?
That was cool.
And all
Anakin
that
had
was
like
really
those
cool.
tribal
Yeah.
tattoos or whatever it was.
And then they showed
Yeah.
that when that whatever that clan of whatever they were found
Yeah.
them or something, and he was leading them, and you kind of got the Darth Vader inkling, when they were like
Yeah.
they were cheering him and everything.
You use the dark side, yeah.
Exactly. So those were really good for what they were. They were really good.
Yeah, they're. I don't think they're not considered canon anymore.
No, they're not. No.
Oh, some of the stuff makes sense, like the whole Mace Windu, messing up Grievous and everything
Right.
like that. That should have been kept in there, But
And that's
it
one
was
thing.
good.
I think I still got the D. I hope I still got the D because I had bought them. But I still maintain, because I was never the hugest Grievous fan, even though I got a statue. I thought he was a lot more menacing on those little shorts than he was in the actual Clone Wars series. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got more of him through the show, but he's always running away. And,
exactly. Yeah, that's my problem. Okay, Grievous, you so tight, then what? Because save for the only time, Vader never ran. Sidious, he tried. I guess he tried to skip out on Yoda, but he still ended up. They still ended up throwing down. But Grievous, I'm talking on a consistent basis. This dude always rolling out. I'm like,
Sidious, yeah. People say Sidious ran, but I feel like Sidious had a plan. He knew.
Yeah,
He knew
exactly.
what he wanted to do. He knew that he had Vader, and that was his lackey. Like that was somebody that he could. That's why he went to save him, because Palpatine could not have created the Empire without Vader.
No, that's true.
He needed somebody he needed the original Inquisitor.
Mm-hmm.
That was his Inquisitor, the Emperor. That's his enforcer. And I know he belittled him and all that, but he did that to make him, more angry and more to the dark side, because he knew he was conflicted. He knew Anakin was still in there.
And that's the thing that I maintain with, because again, taking my Vader card out, with this Kenobi show.
Yeah.
Does Kenobi understand if you get rid of Vader, the chunk that you taking out of the Empire, if you did that, and you just, my thing is, we knew it was going to happen, because we saw, but I'm like, that's literally like letting somebody like Ted Bundy or somebody walk away,
right?
Like, because you know this dude going to continue to just kill, and I'm like,
I know, I see where you're coming from,
yeah,
but I feel like Obi-Wan felt so guilty,
I get that, but okay, at the very least, you got to turn this dude into somebody else. You can't just leave him there. You can't just leave him. I'm sorry. And I don't care what y'all come up with.
Yeah.
You cannot just leave this dude to just keep on doing what he's doing. You know what I mean? because you. I
He
mean, I
made,
know
he
how
made
you.
the same mistake as when he left him on the fire. Like he
Well,
didn't finish him
I
off.
can see that before I can
Yeah,
see what happened in the show because
I
with
get.
that
Yeah,
one, it's like he ain't gonna survive. I mean, it's
yeah,
cruel,
yeah.
but
He
this
pretty
dude,
much was dying, and then
yes, this
Palpatine
dude is
saved him.
finished. I can't
Yeah,
bring myself to finish him, and it's cruel to let him suffer, but I just can't do it. But with this, yeah, he probably gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? So that was
yeah.
just my whole,
No, I that makes sense.
yeah,
I mean, I can see, they could have done it differently, where something like the ground split in half and they couldn't
something,
get
yeah, do
the sunlight,
something, yeah,
because they were all like doing Star Killer moves in that fight,
right,
like Kenobi like doing the freaking Jesus, and
yeah.
then like that was interesting. I never thought Kenobi would ever reach those depths of the Force
He
with
had to,
the rocks.
he had
It's
to,
just it wasn't very Jedi esque,
because he had to. All that normal stuff wasn't gonna work.
Yeah, that's
You
what
know
I'm
what I mean?
saying. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I never thought I'd see the day where Kenobi would resort to that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but I get it. I mean, the Kenobi show wasn't for me. It was okay. I mean, it was all right. And of course, the last episode really got me because my boy showed up.
Yeah. Oh
He's
yeah.
like, I've
Yeah.
been here. He's like, I've been here. It's just you can't see me, bro.
You can't see me,
Right.
dog.
He pulled the John Cena. He's like, you're still conflicted. That's why you couldn't see me,
Yeah.
which made sense.
I enjoyed it. You got the Inquisitors and stuff, and that thing with the who was that? The third sister. I always forget like which
Was
sister
it the
she
fourth
was.
sister?
Fourth.
I think,
I can't
and then
remember.
the fifth brother.
The fifth brother. The fifth brother was on the show. He was
He
in
was
Rebels.
on the show, and he was in Rebels. And I love Rebels, by the way. I love Rebels. I just rewatched it to get ready for Ahsoka because Ahsoka is literally season 5 of Rebels. That's what it is.
Right.
But live action.
Yeah, I saw somebody post that. They said, "Why y'all didn't just make season 5 of Rebels?"
Right. But here's the thing: I don't mind seeing it in live action. That's gonna be
Me
so
neither.
cool, man. Yeah.
You get Sabine, even though I think Sabine hair is too long.
She'll cut it. She better cut it.
And
she has Ezra's saber too.
Oh yeah. Because you see her fighting that whatever the female Dark Jedi.
Those are interesting. I don't know much about them, and I'm gonna keep it that way.
Yeah.
Like I haven't been watching the trailers and the shorts. I just like that's the thing with me now. I like going into stuff without seeing the trailers anymore because I love the excitement of, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if I told you this, but for Rogue One, I didn't see any trailers. Like I seen the first one with Vader, the back of Vader's head.
Oh, I remember that one.
That was the only one I seen. When I seen Tarkin, I started screaming.
Dude, I swear to God, when I saw that, I was literally like, huh? Like this dude been dead since 86.
Right.
When he talked, I was like, dude, that's him. Like,
dude, I lost my mind.
I said, what sorcery is this?
We will deal with your rebel friends soon enough. But I lost it because I knew Tarkin was around during this era, of course. Right. It's literally right before A New Hope. But I didn't think they would. We weren't used to seeing this technology. This is the first time that we seen, like bringing someone to life like that. You know what I'm saying? We seen RDJ as a kid, but we didn't see something like bringing somebody from the dead, like making them like bringing them on screen. Like that's crazy, man. I was so excited for that.
Well, man, we have run out of time. It's been an hour already.
Right.
But I want to thank you for coming on. I know you wanted to ignite a saber before we split.
Sure. So here's Luke's lightsaber.
Switch, jam their conflict, center switch.
There you go.
Yeah, man, those whenever I see these people going to Galaxy's Edge and buying these sabers, I'm like, y'all wasting money.
You're right.
Y'all
Yeah.
are wasting money, you know.
Right.
But look, man, I want to really thank you for coming on, and it was great rapping with you.
Thank you, my friend. It's always a pleasure, and hopefully, we'll do some more.
Oh, of course, but we're still gonna try to bring you to the dark side.
I'll never turn to the dark side.
So look, we want to thank y'all for watching, man, and hope you enjoyed this episode. We catch you next time. We'll just ask for a friend. See you later, everybody.
May the force be with you always.